Going cruising on a sailboat is a big dream for a lot of us, and all the brands have models kind of lined up in front of you with promises of luxury, safety, and live aboard amenities for 200 grand, 400, or even $500,000. But the more shrewd negotiator out there might find themselves asking, surely there's an older boat out there that gives me all the fancy stuff the brand new boat does at a fraction of the cost, right? And there is. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, the world cruising market was dominated by 50-footers, heavy, thick-hulled ocean-plowing monohulls with heavy builds, thick wooden interiors, high bulwarks, and tall rigs. One of the most famous was, of course, the Delos, the Amel Super Maremma, and while Brian proved this boat's world-traveling ability, he also made it famous and harder to buy. But never fear, there was another contender from an unlikely source, Beneteau. And stay with me, because this is one heck of a Beneteau. Way back in 1995, Beneteau was set to launch its 50-footer, but it would be like nothing Beneteau had ever done before, because this boat wouldn't be designed in-house by Beneteau. Beneteau at the time was making little race boats in the first series, and floating condos with sugar scoops and aft cabins, and most sailors couldn't be bothered. But for the 50, they went outside the box. They rang up a man named Bruce. Bruce was from New Zealand, where they take sailing pretty seriously. He began building boats when he was just 13 years old. They were made of plywood, hard-chined moth designs, flying 18s with focus on lightweight and planing hulls. By his late teens, he was designing small, lightweight keel boats that were successful on the race course. His first achieved acclaim as a sailboat designer in the highly competitive 18-foot skiff class, popular in Australia and New Zealand. Bruce's designs won the 18-foot skiff world title several times in the early 70s. If you haven't figured it out yet, Bruce's last name is Farr, a proper legend in the sailing world. Boats designed by Farr Yacht Design competed in every Whitbread Round the World race after 1981 and won the 86, 90, 94, and 98 races. The first Bruce Farr yacht in the Whitbread race was Farr-designed Ceramco New Zealand, which competed in the 1980 Whitbread race and won the Sydney to Hobart the same year. Farr designed the 58-foot yacht, which came to be known as Maiden, the first all-female crew in the 89-90 Whitbread Round the World race. Farr's Volvo Ocean 65 was the first ever one design selected for the Volvo Ocean race, for the 2014-15 race, and again for 2017-18. Farr is the most successful designer of winners of the Sydney to Hobart yacht race, having designed 15 overall winners between 1945 and 2003. So when Beneteau wanted to make a 50-foot world cruising monohull, they weren't messing around. They called Bruce Farr, and he made them a hull, and this is it. From 1995 to 2004, 200 of these Beneteau 50s were built, weighing an impressive 29,000 pounds, 50.75 feet long and 15 feet wide. They came with two keels, the 7.5 foot commonly found worldwide, and the 6-footer more tailored for work in the Caribbean and the US East Coast. And while Beneteau handled the comfort inside the boat as you'd expect them to do, the hull shape and design was all handled by Farr. So the hull speed of this family cruiser is just a pinch over 9 knots, but many a test sail has proven her values well into the double digits. But it's not all go fast here. She's an ocean-rated boat with a capsize screening score of 1.92, well into the ocean category, and comfort ratio of 26.35, so she won't be all rolly and wobbly on the wave tops. You'll find the Beneteau 50 under a few different names as well, because many were sold to the charter fleets. The Moorings 503, 504, and 505 are all Beneteau 50s. You'll find the 3-cabin version or the 4, with the 3 being the owner's version with the Pullman berth forward. You'll find these with Yanmar turbo diesels and Perkins diesels, and because they were designed in the 90s before water makers were so common, they hold 264 gallons or 1,000 liters of water. fuel is 132 or 500. Proper offshore numbers. And if the magic of a brand new boat is calling to you, never fear. This has a lot of features you'd expect in today's models. This is a twin helm in a time where that was extremely rare. It has electric inboard primary winches to allow the helmsperson to do a lot of the sailing without tripping over the guests. It's got an in-mast furling and bow thruster too. With all the new tech coming out and sailing on all the brand new boats that I get to go on for my work, I'm shocked by how much tech this old Beneteau has. And all the new trends we see on the new models, and this boat has all that stuff from way back in the 90s, early 2000s. And you can find these for less than 200 grand for an ocean-going, world-traveling, battle-tested 50-footer. Now, I will say this is a lot of boat for two people to handle. The bow thruster will make it easier, but the sloop rig and very large sail plan means she will be very, very fast on all points of sail in all winds, but when the sails are powered up, it takes a lot of energy to trim them. And the mainsails in-mast furling is always something to worry about on old Beneteaus. Furling jam stories are abound with these systems, and I'd much rather this boat have a stack pack and traditional slab reefing, but perhaps we can find one that does. But when you ultimately arrive in the tropical islands or wherever you plan to sail after a day of smashing along at 9 knots plus, you drop the hook and settle in, you'll have all the space and luxury that the folks on the brand new $500,000 boats have. The inside of this boat is monumental. Whether it's just you and a partner or a whole family or even 2 couples or 3 couples sharing this experience, the boat has room for everyone and everything. Most of them come with standalone generators, but also enough room for at least 1,000 watts of solar on the back and storage everywhere. And this is from a time where the soles were all one piece. The woodwork is actually meant to last, and the craftsmanship was a little less IKEA. Touring this boat, it's hard to tell that we're not on a brand new model with all the features, but for less than 200 grand, I found one of these for 150, we sure do get a lot of boat. But of course, it comes with old boat problems. You'll want to make sure you get newer rigging if it hasn't been replaced since new. Engine hours will be suspect as they approach 10,000. Electronics on these boats all tend to be older, so depending on what you want, you may need to budget for some upgrades. Sails may need to be replaced. What you're buying with an old Beneteau 50 is a good Bruce Farr bones of a boat. A 9-knot ocean-crossing, battle-tested sailboat that can do anything you might ever want it to do, in comfort and speed and luxury and safety with all the new features of a $500,000 boat, but at a fraction of the cost. You may just need some help really sailing her hard if you plan to, because she's a heck of a lot of boat. Ever since I started sailing, I've had this dream to share it with as many people as possible, to show everyone the beauty and serenity that sailboats bring to our lives and disrupt the gatekeepers who tell us all the reasons we can't go sailing or that it's too expensive or too difficult. Sailing is for all of us, the great equalizer, whether you're in a 22-foot Catalina or a multi-million-dollar cat. There are no big shots out here. It's a disruptor, and I love it. To get more people sailing more easily, I make these videos, and I wouldn't be able to do that without the support of the patrons. People who give as little as a couple of dollars an episode to make this all possible. Thank you so much. If you'd like to help get more people sailing, please consider becoming part of the team on Patreon. Until next week, friends, keep the heavy side down, but not too far down. I love you guys.